Greetings, Game Cola faithful, and welcome to the Game Cola podcast. This is podcast number 160. The thoughts in your brain as you listen to the podcast between in your ears, we are betwixty. And I am your host and podcast commander, Joseph Martin, joined by...
Hi, I'm Bryniarski, and I'm here. And I'm a pirate.
Blu Ryder. Oh, I'm sorry, I ruined your thing.
No, that's okay. I literally did that off the cuff because I'm slow.
I'm Blu Ryder, and look at me. Oh wait, you can't. I'm a podcast man in a podcast land.
I'm John. I'm just watching this train wreck live.
No, you're not. We
just
said it's a podcast.
talked about how we cannot watch. That was the point of my introduction.
And that was the point of my joke.
John, I
John,
will never forgive you for this infraction.
Your intro joke cannot always be not doing the intro joke. Just because you always go last.
That's my running gag. Come on.
Well,
your running gag
into
can't
the
be
ground.
being bad at improv, John. You need a new running gag. All right. It's time, everyone. Time to return to Monke
Island.
Did I stutter?
Yes.
Yes.
You have roommates.
It's me when they announced it.
That was our live recording of Anna Bryniarski when Return to Monkey Island
Not
was
Return to
announced.
Monkey Island, Earthbound.
Oh, never mind. Excuse me, Return to Earthbound Island.
Thank you.
An island I am not.
I'm grabbing all of the threads of the different jokes that are currently happening. I'm squeezing them, twisting them back into one cord, weaving them into one cord of a podcast thread. We were talking about the video game Return to Monkey Island, a sequel to the video game Monkey Island, Return not included.
It's called The Secret of Monkey Island.
Yeah, even I knew that.
Was there any returning in it? I don't think so. All right, quick. Who can give me a quick history of the video game series, The Monkey Island Monkeys Without Return?
All right. Do you want Anna and I to get our giant booklets from?
Oh yeah. Here, let me
drop.
Let me get my Monkey Island Chronicles. John and I both received at the end of last year of 2021 our boxes of Monkey Island fun stuff from Limited Run Games.
Came a full year after we ordered it.
Like 10 whole months later. Actually, like 11 months later almost. But
I remember I ordered it for my birthday
it.
one year, and then I was like, oh, I got it on my birthday the next year.
It was December. So I don't want to do it. Do you want to?
I just have the CD case. I'll just read off the...
okay, cool.
But yeah, the Monkey Island series was developed by LucasArts way back when in the golden age of point-and-click adventure games with The Secret of Monkey Island, and then it was Monkey Island 2, LeChuck's Revenge. Can you imagine if it was just a random person's name? It wasn't like the main villain of the first game they put in the title. And then The Curse of Monkey Island, which has neat little Disney-like 2D animation throughout the whole game. And then Escape from Monkey Island, which looks ugly as hell. And then Tales of Monkey Island, made by Telltale Games. Right? Tales of Monkey Island. The next one was Telltale.
Oh, okay.
Telltales of Monkey Island, you could say.
Yeah.
I'm sure I'm the first person to make that joke. The absolute first person. And the Telltale one, so through the history, my understanding too is that, like, maybe the first 3 are generally pretty well regarded.
Yeah.
And then it sort of, there's like a decline when it comes to the 4th and 5th game.
Yeah.
I think...
Did people like the Telltale one?
I think
I remember there was a lot of hype.
The first episode or so. Like, it wasn't it his Game of the Year one of...
There are mixed reviews of the of the Telltale one, which is fair.
Paul was at least very excited before it came out, and I think he liked at least the first episode.
I think overall it's pretty okay. I like it better than the fourth one. But up to 3, I think is one of the... I think 3 is maybe the one where people are like, yeah, this is really good, and then the fourth one came out and they went,
Yeah, 4 just had a really weird art style that didn't vibe with anyone. It's like not even the game's humor could save it. Because like the writing was there, but it's like, my god, it does not mesh well.
Didn't people get angry at this one's art style for some reason?
They did. People didn't like how it looked. I can't tell you why. I think it's adorable.
I think it's adorable too, but I think it's mostly akin to a lot of mobile games have a similar art style, but it's not like, but it doesn't have, or design like overall, but it's like the style itself is in the actual game is more, there's more shading going on. It looks a little more premium than most mobile games.
Yeah.
But it's like the fact that it looks similar to some mobile games that people can name off, it's like on the top of their heads. It's like that was just a little disheartening to see for some fans. Especially when the third game had like Disney quality of 2D animation.
Oh. And this one is a sequel to which one? Because it's sort of a requel, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's people who are keeping up with horror movie trends.
So what is...
It's marketed as a direct sequel to Monkey Island 2, but it's framed to be like a sort of quasi sequel, if that makes sense.
So it's the H2O of the series. That's a Halloween reference. Sorry.
Okay, I was like, what do mermaids have to do with this?
What are you talking about?
What do Australian mermaids have to do with Monkey Island or horror movies? I guess I could see how Australian mermaids could factor into Monkey Island.
That sounds reasonable, yeah.
I do hope that H2O mermaids are actually Australian, and I'm not just pulling that out of
That really does sound correct, because I knew what you were talking about.
The not American, at least, mermaids.
Yes.
H2O, something, water. Anyway, so, okay. Yeah, because I would say that the animation and art style sort of supporting that of the return to Monkey Island is, like, symbol-based. Right, so, like, lots of motion tweening is, like, the sort of undercurrent, like, the tendons that connect the body of the animation. And, like, symbol-based animation is a style of animation that you can do very, like, simple and straightforward and cheaply, lazily, if you want to be, like, mean about it, but also, like, if you're talking about, like, mobile games, for example, it's, like, if you want just the bare minimum, that's something that, like, is functional with the least amount of effort, symbol animation is, like, good for that. But also, like, that doesn't mean that symbol animation is inherently lazy and cheap. You can do a lot of cool stuff with symbol animation, like, as your groundwork, as long as you are, like, considering that and working with it and not sort of fighting against it to try to do stuff that it's not set out to do. And from what I have seen from, like, clips of stuff, it seems like they've really taken advantage of the style that they are using. They're using it to its fullest potential. They're using what things become easier to heighten other aspects of the presentation. Because, like, if this thing is easier, then you can spend more time, you know, with, you know, you mentioned, like, shading stuff and other elements to make it all work into a cohesive thing. I'm sure at some stage it was chosen because doing something like the Disney animation style of Monkey Island 3 was probably cost prohibitive.
Oh, yeah.
But that doesn't mean that the end
expensive.
product... Just because it is, like, I think this is sort of a general point, but I think there is sometimes a weird thing in games and art in general where it's like, the harder you work, the better a thing is.
Yeah.
And it's like, you can work very hard on something and it is still terrible. Yeah. And you can work very little on something and it can be great. Yeah. And the amount of effort does not always directly correlate to how good a thing is.
I was gonna like having a strong artistic vision, and then even if you implement that in a more simple way, is better than like not really knowing what you're doing, but trying like doing it in the most complicated way. Is one of those is overall better than the other usually. Is I think what I was trying to say.
Yeah, I think the point to maybe end it on, so we can talk about more parts of the game, is like, even at the least charitable sort of understanding of how this game got put together, I think they still did a good job. Like, it looks good. Like, the presentation looks good. It's very different, but I think it works. Whether it is up to everyone's cup of tea, that's always debatable. But I think they did a good job with the vision that they clearly had for it. So we've circled back a little bit, because we've mentioned that Monkey Island is a point and click adventure game from sort of the heyday of point and click adventure genre. But what like, if you had to sort of sum up Return to Monkey Island, its space, or the Monkey Island series, including Return to Monkey Island, its space within the point and click adventure game, like what is it about? What is the vibe? We've alluded to it a little bit, but sort of more explicitly.
Comedy! That's it.
That is one element. I feel like there's another strong element that we have not particularly referenced.
Maybe like some sort of solution-based
They're funny pirates.
Gameplay. Something to do with, like, solving... No, maybe I just don't know anything.
I don't know. It's on the tip of my tongue.
Solving treasure.
Maybe we'll eventually put the puzzle pieces together.
Yeah. Wait a minute! Pieces of 8! Like pirates! Thanks, Blue. I knew we'd come around eventually. Yes, there's, point-and-click adventure puzzle type stuff. Pirates. Lots of comedy involved. It's very much there are lots of elements from what I know of Monkey Island where it's like just set up. Like, some parts are like, this is just an elaborate setup for a set of jokes.
Yes.
Like, there's no gameplay mechanic. Like, there's, oh yeah, here's this part where if you talk to someone over and over again, the crew will like sing a different song every single time or something like that.
Or they'll just tell you to go away, stop annoying me.
Yeah.
So, like, how does Return to Monkey Island handle stuff like the humor and the puzzles and sort of carrying on the overt sort of themes of the series?
It's great. Yeah, I think
great.
Within
it feels very much like the first 3 games. I didn't really play the 4th one yet. I have to play it, but it feels very close to at least the first 2, because that was the last one that the core team worked on before this one.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, like, as a requel that is returning to the roots of the games closer to 20 years ago, and also as, like, a long-standing series that has, for instance, the Telltale games in between, how does it compare to being, like, a retro game, I guess, and also being, like, bringing quality life improvements and modernizing it? Where does it stand in, like, those areas?
I'd say it plays a lot like the remasters of Monkey Island 1 and 2, if you've ever played those.
Yes.
Where it's just, you can control it with a controller, you just move around like normal, and then you can hit the action button to interact with everything. Unfortunately, it doesn't have the mechanic where you could switch between, like, classic point-and-click adventure controls, where it has, like, the bar where you have to click on, look at this thing, open this thing, or close the fridge. Oh, you forgot to close the fridge. Don't make sure you don't leave, or something like that. But yeah, no, it still works like a classic point-click adventure game. You're walking around looking for items, being like, oh, I can't give you this book until you break this person out of jail. You can't break this person out of jail until you give this locksmith the serial number, and so on and so forth. So it's just like a step-by-step trading process, like most of the point-and-click adventure games back then. But it's still, the writing is still as excellently witty as ever. Like, I think within the first hour of me playing the game, I gut busted laughing at least 6 times. Yeah, it has like the classic like opening opening themes that the first game has, where it was just staying on the opening credits for, I think, like 2 minutes, and it was just nothing but good vibes throughout the whole thing. Humor wise, it's still very funny, but I think one example of this game's kind of humor is very light spoilers for this, but when the main character's like Guybrush is like, I'm gonna find the secret of Monkey Island for real this time, because that was the running gag of the first game, where they actually didn't find it. But he's like, I'm gonna find a ship and a crew, and then he just goes out into the thing and he sees like his rival's ship and crew just ready to pack up, and the game doesn't even say anything. You could just walk up to it and be like, I'm gonna join this ship and the crew instead. And then like the rest of the game is just you're trying to do that.
I've actually finished the game.
And trying desperately not to spoil it.
I feel like I can't say anything.
Yeah, that's why I said like in the first hour this happens.
So I've had a fantastic time playing. It definitely did remind me of the remasters, which is what I played as my introduction to the series in like 2013 is when I played them. 2012, 2013. So here we are 10 years later, and I've like got a pretty good base of all the games. And I'm not someone who really grew up with them, but I still love them. I think they're great. I had a great time playing them. I had a fantastic time playing this. It's pretty. When I play point and click adventure games at this point in my life, after like maybe a few years of playing them, I think solutions are going to be way harder than they actually are. So I always do appreciate hints, because they can direct me to a place, be like, hey, you can calm down. It's actually pretty simple. So I was very grateful to this game when they did give you a hint book. They're like, hey, it's really easy.
I had like a similar thing. This is slightly off topic, but I had a very similar thing with like I watched like an old horror whodunit movie recently, and I like way overthought it, and I couldn't solve it because it was so straightforward. Yeah.
Yeah, there are things where it's like pretty straightforward. It's like, yeah, you just have to do this, and it's like, oh, okay.
I imagine like, you know, like a character from old point and click adventure games, and like someone's like, yeah, we need to bake a cake, and like one of the things we need is milk, and the character's like, now I gotta go, like, find a cow and argue with the farmer about milking their cow. And then it's like, no, just the grocery store is, like, right over there. Yeah. Like, here's $2. Get some milk.
Like, I don't know.
Oh, wait, no, I'm a quarter short. Find a piece of gum, find a stick, find a sewer grate.
I'll just give you a quarter. Calm down.
Because there are some games where they're just like, yeah, here's this puzzle that's going to take you 20 years to figure out. It's like, oh, cool, thank you. But some of these were actually pretty straightforward, and I liked that because it made me feel a little smart, because I didn't need the hint book too often. I did get ahead of myself a few times, but having that hint book helped put me back on track, because I didn't know what I was doing. I had to get something, and I got it, and I was like, all right, cool. Why do I have this? And I was like, what do I do now? They're like, just do this. And I was like, oh, okay, thank you. The puzzles were pretty straightforward. I didn't have a huge problem with it, so it was pretty easy to get through the game. On casual mode, I haven't done the hard mode yet.
John, are you on hard mode?
Yes.
Oh,
I immediately started the game that way. I have yet to use the hint book, but I don't know if the hard mode like just makes it go blank or something like that, because I haven't even opened it up yet.
What were you saying, Joe?
I was gonna ask, like, is there anything like that feels like brand new to the series that this game has brought? Like,
so what actually does end up happening is, since it's been so long, probably either 10, 20 years, since Guybrush was last on Melee, really, things have changed. There are new pirate leaders, which was in the first game, the pirate leaders were the ones who gave you trials so you could become a real pirate. There are new pirate leaders. It's a younger generation that's all about dark magic instead of voodoo, which is part of kind of a larger part of the game. Voodoo is a big theme for the series. So the dark magic is just like new and different and weird. The very beginning, and this might be a spoiler, picks up where the second game left off, but not in the way that you would think. After a little while, spoiler ahead, it's revealed that this is actually Guybrush's son and his friend playing around at a pirate-themed amusement park. And so they run up to Guybrush, who's sitting there, who then starts the story of this game.
Oh, okay. So
that's its framing.
Sounds like it's not ignoring the other games. It takes place after them.
It's not at all.
Okay.
Because that's what I was like wondering about.
Super cool.
Yeah. It was very cool when it got to that point. I was like, oh, okay, so that's how we're doing it.
I also like how if you mess up like in the game, it cuts back to older Guybrush telling the story to his kid, and his kid's like, wait, that's not how that happened. Tell it right.
I think it's very cute that like that first section of the game really did make me go, oh, that's really sweet. Like I was just smiling because I was like, that's so nice. I like that. That's really cute. But that's the biggest difference. There are differences. Like there's shops that have been closed on this island. There are new characters. There's a new governor because the original governor is your now wife. But there's the sword master from the first game is now the governor on that island. So things have it shows that things have changed, but like it fits in so well. It feels like no time has passed, and I can say that because I didn't play the original when it came out because I wasn't born. but like it feels like it fits so well. Like everything fits so well. The biggest change that I felt was actually the voice of LeChuck is no longer the person who's been doing it since Curse of Monkey Island. Earl Bowen, they actually have Jess Harnell as the voice of LeChuck, which he did a great job. He did an amazing job as LeChuck. I thought he did great. I was just surprised. But if we go on a little more towards the end of the game, like I said, I had a fantastic time playing. It made me very happy. A few years ago, a game came out called Thimbleweed Park, which was also made by Ron Gilbert.
Yes.
I had a great time with that one. It was super fun. The ending left me feeling empty.
Oh.
And without spoiling anything, that's kind of how I felt at the end of this game, because it gave me a similar feeling. It took me a little bit, but I kind of got over that feeling. I haven't gotten over that feeling with Thimbleweed Park, but with Monkey Island, I've gotten a little bit over that feeling. But like that, it didn't ruin the experience for me as it did with Thimbleweed Park, but it did give me pause and made me a little upset for the rest of the day. But it's still such a good game. And
I don't know what sort of
recommend it.
Problems this is, or the ending has, but is it possible that it could be rectified with a sequel or something?
If there is one, sure. If not, it doesn't, it really doesn't matter. Whatever has been decided of what the end is what it is. And I'd be okay with a sequel, with another game. I would also be okay without another game. Because the ending the ending of this game can kind of be whatever you want it to be, based on your answer to the final dialogue option.
Right.
And which felt a lot better than Thimbleweed Park, which was very definite.
Right. And does it feel like there's going to be a sequel, or does it feel like this is an ending point?
I feel like it is the ending. I'd be okay with that.
Well, there's another option in there though that's like a leaving a fishhook out for the sequel, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
we are writing this so that if this is you can write a movie or a game or something where it's like, we are writing this so that if this is the last one, it'll work. But you know, if
that's what I was more asking. Like, is there a little lead-off point for a sequel, or is this, like, is it more
It doesn't really feel like there is, but on Twitter, Ron Gilbert mentioned something that Guybrush's voice actor replied to that I was just like, maybe, and it's like, no, please, no. No more. I can't take it. No, but yeah, I can't think of very many other ways to say it other than I had a great time. It's a wonderful game. It's beautiful. The music felt nostalgic for the point in high school, which was like my final year of high school, where I was actually playing the remasters. It was so good. It was hard to stop playing at some points where I was just like, oh man, I have to start doing work again, because I'm fortunate enough to work from home and be able to do this during the day. But like, it would be hard to stop playing and have to go back to work because I was so into it and I was having such a good time. I think the story's great. It's just the ending that kind of left me feeling a little weird. But it felt very on brand. It didn't feel like weird or out of left field or anything. It felt very on brand.
From what I'm hearing, the rest of the game was like super well thought out on like the creator's part. So I'm assuming the ending was also well thought out, but not necessarily to everyone's taste.
Probably, yeah. That's probably a good way to put it.
John, did you have any other points that you wanted to add in about this so far before we move on?
Pretty sure she hit up everything.
So
I'm damn sure she hit everything because she actually finished the game.
I feel like I just said the same things over and over, so I'm sorry about that. But
no, it was very enlightening.
I was gonna say, have you listened to the Game Goal podcast?
I just like 2 more questions. Fun, is it? I'm pretty sure I've got my answer on that, but worth the money, is it?
No fun. What? Worth the money?
It's $25, so I'd say so.
I would say so. Yeah.
Awesome. I'm looking at the, like...
It's a $70 game, probably not, but it's definitely worth $25.
I'm just looking at, like, the Monkey Island bundle right now on Steam, and that's, like, $30, and this
that's totally
just $20. So, like, I could get all of those for pretty cheap, basically, and that sounds like it would be a good time and something that I should do soon.
It's that's a lot less money than what Anna and I paid for our physical box sets. It's a lot
less money than we paid for
I just wish the new one the old ones were
USB
on Switch
stick with all the games.
We have CDs too.
We do have CDs too, and like a lot of posters and stuff.
And a proud statue I have displayed on my shelf.
I wish the rest were on Switch, because only the new one is on Switch right now.
Yes.
Yeah. And honestly, if Limited Run Games does a physical one of this, which they most likely will, I'll probably get that.
Yeah, you need to let me know if you see anything like that. I'll look into seeing if I can afford it. But yeah, great game. It was good. Super fun.
Thanks
Definitely
for
worth
us
it.
about it.
Yeah.
Yes, and thanks for playing a video game that came out so that we can have some search engine optimization for the podcast.
Finally, we did it. We played a video game recently.
I have been grasping at straws. Being like, hey.
So anyway, time to talk about Minecraft. Stardew Valley?
Minecraft.
So for the audience...
We've all been playing...
Sorry?
I was just saying we've all been playing Minecraft, Fortnite...
every day.
Temple Run has been coming back into swing, I think, somehow, weirdly.
It's an Apple Arcade, like, there's a new version of it that's an Apple Arcade exclusive.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I went onto speedruns.com, and the top games are like, the top game is not Temple Run, but it is a game like Temple Run. It's called like Subway Chaser or something.
That's, yeah.
Streetcar Chaser.
Subway's
And it's
Surfer,
not even it's like the most popular game on speedruns.com. And I go into it, it's not even a speed run.
Yeah, it's like how long can you go without...
How long you can do it without getting coins, which is like, cool. That's not a speed run. Why is this on speedruns.com?
Shame. Absolute shame.
Anyways,
when I was a kid, video game speedruns meant something.
Yeah, back in my day, we only had 15 types of Super Mario 64 speedruns, and we liked it.
Back in my day, you could watch a speedrun and have no idea what's happening.
Yeah. We used to watch speedruns, not watch 10-hour documentaries on the history of speedruns that went boom, 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 boom.
Back in my day, we speedrun Silent Hill, and we got help from that mysterious guy in chat, and we don't know how he did it. Now you can watch a documentary on it.
I did watch the most recent one on the Mega Man 2 speedrun, which was very cool. It's very cool when you do a video game that you actually know some of the tricks about.
Yeah.
But we must be genuine to ourselves. That's probably the most modern video gaming that we'll have for this podcast.
I don't...
Unless we want to talk about the Nintendo Direct that happened.
Well, yes, but we didn't play the Nintendo Direct. Well, I guess we played the video of the Nintendo Direct. That's a fair way to potentially characterize it. So, yeah, with Nintendo Direct, farming. If you want to farm in video games, guess what? You're in luck.
You want to
pet those cows, you can pet those cows.
Here they come.
It's so interesting because, like, I don't know, like, I don't want to, like, throw shade at farming. I think the farming kinds of game, like it's clearly like works popular, well with and like the flow of a video game, right? Like it's kind of hard to incorporate farming into a lot of other types of media.
This movie is about farming.
Yeah, like there's a lot of inherent like repetition and you get most of it from like the cyclical nature of it, and that doesn't really work as well in like visual media. But when it comes to, you know, this gradual improvement over several hours of time, I think it works. It makes sense that it works. It's just interesting that it almost feels like we're still riding this wave of Stardew Valley.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think this is the repercussions.
But also that we haven't had a breakout farming success since Stardew Valley. Like, it doesn't seem like anything has even gotten close to that level of... Like when like MOBAs were the most popular thing, or FPS games were the most popular thing, and I wouldn't say farming games are the most popular thing right now, but like those different like things, you would have like these iterations. You thought, oh, this is the one that everybody's playing now, and this is the one that everybody's playing now. It feels like there's a lot of farming games coming out, and people are having their fun and they're enjoying them, but none of them have had the same lasting power as Stardew Valley has. When I feel like farming games in general have that capacity. That's not unique to Stardew Valley. Stardew Valley did a very good job, clearly, but like it is not something unique in Stardew Valley's approach that allows that to be the case, I don't think. But I don't know. It's interesting that like this is still people are still fishing for that success. They're still clearly looking for it, but it doesn't feel like it's been hit the same way.
Right. I feel like I don't know what it is about Stardew Valley either, because I've never really liked stuff like Harvest Moon, so I don't know what exactly it was about Stardew Valley that
how did Stardew Valley chocolate version go?
It's still in...
I don't think it's out yet.
It's still...
I thought it was coming out for, like, that Halloween or something. I don't remember, but...
No, it's
I haven't
definitely not out yet.
Sorry,
no, I
my
think it
bad.
was just some... Yeah, that's Haunted Chocolatier, I think, is still, like, very early development, or at least I haven't heard anything else about it.
It's
it wasn't in, like,
pretty
any
early
directs or indie game showcases or anything, as far as I can tell.
Yeah, still pretty early.
But even that is not... It's probably not going to be a farming game, right? Like, my guess, I think, that I had, and I would stand by it, at least for now, is that it's going to be more like one of those, you do a dungeon crawl, like a game, like two halves of the game loop, where you do like a dungeon crawl game loop, and then you do like selling items in a shop, and then you do an interact with the people in the town where your shop is, sort of thing. And I think there's going to be twists on it, like in terms of like how the dungeon crawling sort of factors in, and the relationship between the town and the townspeople and the shop. I think there are going to be some interesting things there with regards to ghosts, I imagine, given the haunted word in the title. But like, I think that's the base. That would be my guess as to like the basic premise. So farming, it kind of sounds like is going to be taken out of the game loop, which I think is fair. I think there's a lot of stuff that people like about Stardew Valley that was not the farming, that you can expand on. But then it means that that is going to remain sort of an open space as people are looking for the next thing after Stardew Valley. It does also seem, though, that the success of Stardew Valley has also led to like a coming out of retirement for a lot of other games that had like farming as a strong component, like Rune Factory, I think it's called. Rune Factory, Story of Seasons, which is original kind of Harvest Moon.
That's the original Harvest Moon. Also, it's needed to change its name.
Right, because someone else got the name Harvest Moon.
It's complicated.
But it's the people who made the Harvest Moon games are now making Story of Seasons, and someone else makes Harvest Moon. But I think like all of it, and like I would even venture to say that some of Animal Crossing, the island one.
Yeah, the newest one, yeah.
Yeah. It like that. I don't know. I would not be confident in saying that any inspiration was taken from Stardew Valley, but I think some of the willingness of people to give it a chance had to do with being onboarded into sort of the talking with townsfolk genre.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it came at a very opportune time, as weird as it sounds, considering a massive worldwide pandemic, where people were...
Well, I think that was the good time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's the best time to come out with a game like this.
Yeah.
Where I was already going to play it.
Yeah, I recently read an article about how, like, gaming is down, and I'm like, well, yeah, but that's not a bad thing. Like,
it means people have jobs again.
Yeah.
But
at least some of them.
I have,
yeah,
like, people like me and my sister who have played every Animal Crossing game, we were already going to buy it and play the game. But people like my roommates, who aren't really gamers, my roommates from college aren't gamers, but one of them bought a Switch to, like, partly play Animal Crossing. One of my friend Emily, she tried it for the first time, like, with this new game. And she's definitely more of a gamer than my roommates. So it feels like Stardew Valley might have helped some people. Other people, it kind of just went, oh, well, this looks fun and everyone else is playing it, so I want to try it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was very interesting, and I think that's, like, a silver lining of the whole thing, is that, like, the community grew in ways it wouldn't have otherwise, and, like, now you and your roommate can, like, enjoy video games on a level that you wouldn't have before.
Yeah, and, like, it's a lot of fun seeing them enjoy a game that I've loved since I was in grade school.
Yeah.
The real question is, which one of these many farming games will be next on your wish list?
We did watch it live.
We have Fae Farm, Rune Factory 3, The Next Story of Seasons.
Game Cola superfan, Mac Ball, who was very excited about the farming games.
Yeah, we talk about them a lot, and I never have anything to say, because it's not really my type of game. Maybe when they do a superhero version, then I'll be onboarded onto Stardew Valley.
Mix superheroes and farming. If they can figure that out, you'll
probably become the biggest Stardew Valley fan after that. Yeah. Until
help
then,
Tony Stark make his own whiskey.
Oh, because sometimes he loses all his money and now he has to start from scratch. Help him rebuild. I don't know.
What if I just buy like a regular farming game, name the main character Tony Stark, and then give you the video game?
Well, it would have to have like actual like characters that I recognize, and hopefully like obscure ones.
What if I get a Stardew Valley mod that replaces all the character portraits with superheroes?
Just
the portraits, not the models.
It would have to take a bit more effort than that, but that's a good start.
You can't pull one over on that
Wait a minute.
You just changed the portraits.
This
not
game
the
didn't originally have the Joker.
The Joker.
If someone did like a total conversion, and they had like a lot of comic knowledge and they like cared about the project, then yeah, that would be a good start. I might.
This is an important question. Which comic book characters would be the best and the worst in a farming town like in Stardew Valley?
Well, Thanos had one in the MCU, so he would be the first choice.
But hold on.
Squirrel
Thanos
Girl.
Was he actually good at farming? Like, we never get any evidence that he like had any idea what he was doing. I mean, he just had a farm.
No, in the comics, I can extrapolate from the comics and say yes.
Yeah, he did.
Okay, so Thanos was actually good at farming. Yeah. Okay.
He's at least, in the comics, he's like a genius level intellect, so he at least would be able to figure some of it out, and he did have a farm in the comics, so I would reasonably assume that yes, he would be at least halfway decent.
He was a genocidal maniac that had a great farming hobby. There we go.
Okay.
Good job.
Who would be bad at farming?
Batman, Tony Stark.
Luke Cage.
No, I feel like they'd be able to figure it out.
Worst?
I feel like
Chemo, I guess, because he's just a big ball of acidic sludge and sadness.
Wow. All right.
So, I guess moving on from that presentation, there were a whole bunch of presentations.
Back to Nintendo Direct. Fire Emblem Engage. Who's excited?
Fire Emblem Engaged, more like. Dating, I assume dating and romance will be another fundamental component of the video game. That's where that joke is based on. Yeah. Is this the one where the protagonist looks like Joycons?
Yeah. It's so.
I did not know that.
That's not.
It's such a weird visual design.
Normal for Fire Emblem, right? Like, Fire Emblem has had some wacky designs, but this one seems...
This is, like, really odd.
Significant.
Also, it's just weird that, like, Marth and other characters from the past games can come back and help guide you like they're friggin' Force Ghost Obi-Wan Kenobi.
I mean, is it trying to be... Is it trying to be gacha?
No. It's literally, it's part of the story.
That's what the vibe is. Right, but it's like how I guess, like, obviously you get Marth or whoever at the beginning, you get some ones, but it seems like it's built in such a way that you could do it, and so like you get random pulls that you can then place as like people on your main character as on other characters, and it's like some are determined, like some you just unlock by playing the game, but some you have to like get and roll for. Like, I'm not saying it's doing that, but it seems like it's almost built around that.
I don't know. This is one of the weirdest 3-minute trailers I've ever seen where it told you nothing. It's like so much stuff was happening, and I didn't retain a single thing from it. I'm like, wait, what? Martha's back somehow? He's Obi-Wan Kenobi? What the hell? What the hell? It's like, what's...
Because it seems like Three Houses did not even good. I think it did better than expected. I think I think Three Houses, just based on
Three Houses
how
was
Fire
a
Emblem has
monster hit for the series.
Yeah, it was like a breakout success in the scale of Fire Emblem. So like, I can't imagine that. I'm gonna imagine that a lot of things that were kind of like even firsts or fundamental to Three Houses are going to be in this new game, because I think they're gonna try to make that the main Fire Emblem formula now. And then also get people on board by saying like, "Hey, you remember this guy from Smash Brothers? Come play Fire Emblem if you haven't already. That's the Smash Brothers guy. There's another Smash Brothers guy. I'm sure we're gonna have
play Earthbound 3. Oh wait.
Oh.
You've got.
Wait, what if they're
Marth, 3? Sorry, I said Earthbound.
I
3.
bet
that
Ike
disgraceful.
and Roy will be there somehow.
What if the Fire Emblem Force Ghosts are all locked behind Amiibo?
Is Amiibo still a thing?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, they just
they
just released a new Amiibo for Splatoon 3.
Yep.
I did not hear about. I don't know. I guess maybe it is. I haven't really been paying attention. It definitely used to be a bigger thing.
For sure, but it's still around.
Okay.
Which is good for the people who like them, I guess.
I like Amiibo.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a Sora Amiibo? Because he's in Smash. I would want that.
We don't know. They have not confirmed that one yet. We know Sephiroth's getting an Amiibo. And so is
there's a Sora one.
Kazuya.
I'll probably end up buying it, actually.
Yeah, no, I'll definitely.
The only other amiibo I've wanted was like a specific Mega Man one, because Nathaniel Hoover's levels are locked on like the Mega Man collection behind the amiibo, and I want to play them.
Yeah, on the 3DS. Yeah.
Yeah, the Mega Man amiibo is actually pretty cheap now. It's like $13.
I have the regular Mega Man amiibo, but that's the only one that I have.
Yeah, that one unlocks the things on the 3DS.
Yeah.
It's pretty cheap. The next big announcement was Octopath Traveler 2.
Yes, I
also a mobile game.
Octopath Traveler.
Octopath Traveler. I haven't finished the first one still. But they have me so like in with the art style because I love it so much. So I'm definitely going to look into getting it when it comes out.
Yeah,
and maybe
and there's also like an Octopath Traveler mobile game that's a sequel to the first game and takes place in between them. Yes?
Is there?
Yeah, I don't know if it.
It's a Square Enix game,
described it accurately, but there is a canon mobile game that confused me.
The Octopath Traveler 1.5.
Yeah, basically, from what I understand. Though that's better than Kingdom Hearts. So if it was Kingdom Hearts, it'd be like 1.1. Is that all that was from the Nintendo Direct? I missed that one. I was there for all the other ones.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to get through it. The next Theater Rhythm Final Fantasy game. It's just a rhythm Final Fantasy game coming to Switch. And I recently just got the last one on 3DS, and it's super fun, and I can't wait to play the one on Switch. Even though it looks like it has less songs than the 3DS one, so maybe I'll just wait for a price cut.
Which reminds me that in the gaming community, there's like a trombone hero rhythm game that's really popular right now. Just thought I'd mention that because
that just went viral.
I feel like the big, like, the one last thing bit of the Direct, of course, is the name of the Legend of Zelda game that is no longer Breath of the Wild 2, but in fact, I think
core piece of evidence I have that Nintendo assassinated the Queen.
Oops.
Oh no!
Tears of the Kingdom. Which was not broadcast, is highly suspected to the reason that the Nintendo Direct was not broadcast
in England,
in the United Kingdom, or at least not on the United Kingdom's YouTube channel.
For that,
because it would have been considered in poor taste,
considering the historic.
But it's interesting.
Hilarious.
They've been so precious with this name. And It doesn't, like, I think at one point they said they can't give the name because it's a spoiler, and it's like, well, okay, but, like, you're going to have to tell us the name before you purchase the video.
Yeah,
at least 5 months before. At least 5 months before release. Oh, it's coming out in May. Hell yeah.
So, it's weird that they were so precious with it. I mean, is it just, like, that they didn't want to, they hadn't committed to a name, or... I'd be very curious about the development history of this game,
but I love
because it seems strange. I really hope that it's good. You know?
Oh, I can't wait to play this.
I'm very excited for it, but it's also like it's a very weird video game to exist.
Yes.
Yeah, the Zelda series rarely gets like direct sequels to each other.
Yeah, the last one was. I mean, I guess you have Link Between Worlds, which is supposed to be like a sequel to...
But even then, it's...
Link to the Past.
Even then, it's only a sequel, like, gameplay and design-wise, because it's still a different Link.
Majora's Mask is really the only one that feels like this is a sequel.
And then there's
Isn't
Phantom
there,
Hourglass.
the train in the water one, and those were connected, or, like...
Yeah, they were connected, but they're not like this... they didn't feel like... I feel like there's a difference when you're talking about like a game franchise like this, right? Where like any game is like the sequel to the last game.
Well, but like that takes place in like the same timeline world, something.
Right, but it's like also like a completely different game.
Yeah, it's like gameplay wise, it's
I'm saying, like this is the first sequel that is I feel like is going to be as similar to the game it is a sequel to as Majora's Mask was to
that's
Ocarina of Time.
Yeah, that's
right. Like it seems like we're going to get another pair of games like that. And I mean, Majora's Mask is weird, so like I don't know what we're going to get out of this, because on the one hand, I feel like there are some obvious key points of improvement that you can bake into Breath of the Wild just in general, right? Like I think that how rain is handled, is like. I get the fundamental underlying thing of like the game needs a way to redirect you to change your plans, to not just solve everything by climbing up it. Sometimes you have to do other things, but like at a certain point, that's just the most frustrating way to do it.
I waited. There was a place that I wanted to go, and I was like stuck on the side, and so I waited like the in-game weeks until it was like sunny, and then I climbed the rest of the way.
So
it took like 6 hours of real life time just waiting.
I did not come down as hard on weapon durability as other people did, but I do think that there is...
I really don't like that. It's so annoying.
There's room to adjust it so that it is less frustrating. I think even just like giving a slightly more concrete understanding of how durable your weapons are, like how much durability they have left, so that it's not quite like
a bit of a guessing game.
The risk, because it's not like the risk is the information is not secret. It's just hard to keep track of because there's nothing to help you. But you could ostensibly like remember your weapon's durability, but I think you also get really frustrating situations where it's like, oh, you stop using a weapon because you get the first message that it's like, oh, it's decreasing durability, and then you don't use it for a really long time, then you forget the next time, and then you try to use it, and then it immediately breaks.
Yeah, I went into like a boss fight, and all my weapons broke, and I couldn't do anything.
Right.
I was like, oh.
So, like, I think the weapon durability is sort of fundamental to Breath of the Wild in terms of how it's designed, but I think there's other things too. There's other mechanics that seem like kind of interesting, but not really fleshed out. So, like, in that sense, there's room to improve, clearly. But, like, on a big sense, it's like, how do we get the best stuff out of the game without making a whole new video game? Right? Like, how are you going to bridge that, like, in terms of, like, I don't know. It's an interesting problem to solve.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how they're going to do it. And also, like, there is some inherent risk involved in that.
Also, new tablet superpowers.
Yeah, and, like, the original tablet superpowers were kind of fundamental to the game. So, like, how is that going to affect
I'm hoping they get, like, more uses, because, like, I kept going up and, like, trying something and it just not working, and I'm like, oh, okay. My superpower is less super than I thought.
So, I'm interested in it, but we will, I think, have to see.
Mm-hmm. So...
Anything else?
Pikmin 4! Pikmin 4,
Pikmin
it's
4
alive!
was also a big one.
Yeah.
It's alive. It was almost, 90% done in 2015?
It now joins the ranks of Metroid 4 as Metroid Prime 4 as like a video game that exists and has the number 4, and that's pretty much all we know about it.
It's someone's working on it.
Someone's working on a video game with the number 4 in it. It's like the same thing with Valve and the number 3.
Yes.
Yeah. Remember
Nintendo's is the number 4.
When they showed the PNG of the Metroid one, and everyone was like, well, they won E3 this year, and I feel like that has aged poorly.
That was back in 2017. Jeez. God damn.
Dear.
Oh. I could have graduated college in that time. Oh, wait, I did.
Oh,
we
no.
can move on to one of,
man.
the 3 other presentations I watched.
I don't think we need to say much about the Capcom one. It was just like, hey, remember those video games that are coming out? They're coming out. Here they...
There was...
but then there
Mega
was also...
Man's gonna have online, chip trading and battling and stuff,
that's
and
cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Oh, Fatal Frame 4 is getting localized.
Oh, yeah, that one
Hell
is
yeah.
exciting.
I'm excited for that.
And we watched that live, and Dan was there, and then everyone else left, but Dan and I stayed, and my medication kicked in, so I talked their ear off about upcoming video games and stuff, and I hope they enjoyed it, because I enjoyed it.
Yeah, they had a... yeah.
Aw.
Yeah, Dana had a great time.
That's good, because I was afraid I was being annoying.
And then, there was 3 of the same Monster Hunter trailer in a row.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they're just showing DLC.
And then they showed that they were putting in, they put the chaotic universe into Street Fighter.
And I think that's currently my favorite part about it, and you can, just sit down in-game, I think, at an in-game arcade machine and play old Street Fighter games, which is the best.
Hell yeah.
And a weird little future dome thing, like in the TV show Chaotic. That's the reference we're making.
You should go watch Chaotic, it's interesting.
I'm glad we now have as many ways to play Street Fighter 2 on modern hardware as we do with Pac-Man and and Sonic 1.
There was a Marvel game show, which wasn't great, but wasn't terrible. The biggest problem with it was people were expecting way too much from it that obviously wasn't going to happen. They're expecting Spider-Man 2 and Wolverine, and no.
Yeah,
calm down.
That's all Sony's marketing.
So, they announced Midnight Suns is still releasing this year, December 2nd, which isn't too far away. I'm really excited. They announced some sort of Pokemon Go style Marvel game, which I'm way too disappointed in Pokemon, how it released Pokemon Go. I was not a big fan. I was super excited when it was announced, but I tried it out and it sucked. And so I'm not sure. I'll try this one probably, and I'll tell you more about it then. Marvel Snap is gonna be worldwide next month, or in a couple weeks, I think. And I'm cautiously optimistic about that, because there's already Marvel Duel, which was really fun, but isn't legally available in my country, so I, can't really play it. And then, it's, the Marvel Snap is being made by the guy who made Hearthstone, and they had, a big, microtransaction controversy already, which is bad, but then the fans were like, hey, remove this, and he was like, oh, sorry, I'll remove that right away, and we'll figure something better out. So that's good. So I'm hoping it'll be fun. And then also they announced an Untitled Black Panther and Captain America game, which seems to be based off of the Flags of Our Fathers comic arc, which is neat, but we don't really know anything about it aside from it's like being made from the same lady who directed Uncharted, I think. And so it should be pretty good. And then they didn't show this.
This game's gonna take
They didn't show this
out.
at the show, but they did announce an Iron Man game, like a AAA Iron Man game. I don't know why they didn't show it at the show. Probably because they don't have enough to... well, that doesn't make sense, because they didn't show anything about the Captain America game. So they should have just showed it there instead of a few days later.
Pikmin 4 just got a PNG.
Yeah, so like...
No, it had a slight in-engine gameplay, or in-engine thing that lasted 5 seconds, but it was still in-engine.
So I think most of these games will at least be decent. And you should check them out just when later on, when there's more on them, just to, like, make sure you will either be or not be interested in them instead of ignoring them. Because that seems to be, like, a lot of what happens.
I am interested in the Iron Man game because it's being developed by Motive Studios, the guys that are making the Dead Space remake right now.
Yeah. So. Like, as bad as the MCU Iron Man games were, they had, like, an interesting mechanic where you, like, diverted power to different systems. Yeah, and I think that could be reused in a way better game that isn't garbage. That's all from Marvel for now. There was...
God of War got an excellent trailer.
Is that... all the other ones? Because then there's the Game Devs of Color Expo. So is there another show we should be talking about first? Wasn't there a State of Play? I forget. There were a lot of shows that we went through.
I think we may need to truncate this because we're getting a bit near the end of the limits of our time if we want to talk about games we've been playing in recent times. So maybe just a couple.
The Game Devs of Color Expo happened, and there were a lot of interesting things in it. There was, like, Project Anomaly, which is, like, a sort of cute but also sort of horrifying 2D Fatal Frame thing. There was Catizens, which is RuneScape, but everyone's a cat, I think. You can YouTube it and check it out, because it had a lot of neat and a huge diversity of new indie games.
John, did you have?
I think the only thing, like, of real note from the State of Play was that Tekken 8 was announced with no release date, so it'll probably come out in 7 years. And then some Yakuza spin-off games that look neat also don't have many release dates, so they'll come out eventually.
Oh, Yakuza's changing its name now. It's the Like a Dragon series, because in Japanese that's the name, so now it's cohesive.
Yay! We like cohesiveness. The Crisis Core remaster looks cool. I may get that and probably not play it for 5 years. It'll sit on my shelf. And then the God of War got a cool payoff trailer, and it comes out in November, and it looks rad. That's it.
So aside from Monkey Island, return to, what video games have people been playing in recent times? I played GeoGuessr.
How's that going for you?
What is that?
I was not as bad at it as I thought. It's basically, I think it used to be like a free thing, and now you just have to give them your email so they keep track of your stats, and you can only play for like 15 minutes. You like play for 5 minutes, and then you have to wait until 15 minutes from when you started before you can play again, unless you pay them money.
Oh.
But basically, it just the basic premise is it drops you somewhere randomly on Google Street View maps, and you have to try to guess where you are.
Which I could not do because geography is incompatible with my brain.
I wasn't as bad at it as I thought I would be, but I'm not great. But it was interesting to check back in on it, because I think I used to play it a bit when it was just like, I think a completely free like web thing, and then I'm sure someone like bought it, like, you know, someone sold it, like Wordle got sold to New York Times or something like that. And so now it's like a whole industry or something around it, but it was fun. It was interesting. I've yet to win any of the like battle royale, like where you get people and it's like the person who guesses the furthest away is out.
I did not know that was a thing. That's awesome.
Blue, what games have you been playing in recent times?
So many since the last podcast. I finished Citizen Sleeper. I've been playing Spider Hack, because at time of recording, it's free on Steam, and it's very good, and you should play it. I wish I had friends to play it with, but no one will.
What is this? What is this game that everyone's so excited about?
So you play as a little spider that you get to customize, and it's very cute and glowy, and then you swing around on like a web grappling hook and climby thing, and you grab lightsabers and guns and stuff, various weapons, and you fight either other players or you fight with other players against AI, who are not spiders but are things like wasps and scary stuff.
And like, what about this game is like, so like, yeah, Spider Heck?
Everything. The traversal is fun. Gravity doesn't matter. You're a spider. You can climb everything. The level design is great. There are so many maps. Every time I thought I had seen every map, there were more. And they're all like, not all of them are like completely different and unique, but there's a lot of them that have like a gimmick that's really cool. And then the surviving, like, I haven't played Versus because no one would play with me, and it made me sad. But there's also like a campaign mode where there's like very like designed weapon drops and stuff, and enemy spawns in a specific way. It's really great. I don't know what else. It's so much fun. And lightsaber duels, that's great too. And you can, like, reflect bullets and stuff, and there's special guns that do very different things. It's neat. I started Miles Edgeworth Investigations 2. I need to finish that, so I can finish my Ace Attorney binge.
Second one's so much better than the first one.
That's what I've heard, so I should really get back to it. I started Okami HD on the Switch, and I started God of War, the new one. Because I've been playing a lot, because it's been a long time since the last podcast.
Anna, what video games have you been playing in recent times that aren't Returned to Monkey Island?
Oh, well, no.
Return to Monkey Island.
I've been playing Bear and Breakfast, which is a very cute game where you run a bear.
When you run a bear as a breakfast.
In the big blue house.
You're a bear who runs, like, little hotels all throughout the forest. It's very cute. It's actually something my sister told me about before it came out, so we were anxiously awaiting it, and we were not disappointed. It recently came out for Switch. I've just been playing it on my PC.
It's kind of like a tycoon game, right?
A little bit,
like,
yeah.
A little bit more narrative.
I don't know if I'd say really a tycoon game. I don't know.
Well, it's like
cute.
you're running a business and you're managing, you're like making property decisions and like.
This sounds not
feature.
Correct.
Is that not right? I've seen someone play it, and maybe I'm misunderstanding. Maybe I'm thinking.
No, that might just be something that doesn't feel correct in the grand scheme of this adorable game.
Oh, maybe it starts out very different than how it turns out.
I don't know, man. I've also been playing...
Which is what I've always wanted from, like, an Animal Crossing game, is to, like, have, like, a cult thriller horror element suddenly thrown in. I'd play that.
That is not at all. Anyway, Gas Station Simulator, playing that here and there. I started playing Arcade Paradise.
Have you blown it up yet?
No. I actually did. I technically beat the game. I started playing Arcade Paradise. I had to return it because it was making me motion sick, and I couldn't really figure out what to do about that. I still want it back, though. It's another one of those simulation games where you run a business.
You run an arcade? That's cool.
You run a laundromat.
Oh, okay.
And then it has arcade games in the back, and so you kind of have to build your way towards making it an arcade. Because your dad owns the laundromat.
That's really interesting.
And you have
this
to
laundromat is
convince
a
your
front
dad.
for games.
You have to convince your dad that it'd be like a good idea for it to be an arcade, but he's like,
that
no.
is super cool, actually. That might be a simulation game that I would be interested in.
It's a lot of fun. I really want to buy it back, but I can't afford it right now. I had a lot of fun. I just couldn't play it for very long. Cam and I, a few days ago, actually started playing Kingdom 2 Crowns again, which is the third Kingdom game where you're running a...
That sounds it's Kingdom 2 Crowns, the third game.
Kingdom 2 Crowns, so it's multiplayer.
It's part of the Kingdom Hearts series, so that makes perfect sense, actually.
But it's this really good game where you're building up a kingdom, traveling to different islands, and trying not to get destroyed by these monsters called greeds. There's a new game coming out eventually that is based in the 80s, I guess. You're on a bike instead of like a horse. It's great. I've actually been playing it a lot more on my own than with Cam, but it is very easy with two people, especially on easy mode, which is what I've been playing on. That's a lot easier with two people. I've been playing Power Wash Simulator again, and I have been playing Stardew Valley a lot. I started a new game recently, and I am currently playing it. But yeah.
John?
Cool. Done a lot. My roommate and I beat LA Noir. So that was very fun.
Ooh.
I will say the most enjoyment we got out of the game was driving around like a maniac and seeing what responses your partner would give you.
Just like,
I was a taxpayer citizen, you just bounced off the hood. It's like, come on. It's so funny. I beat the remake of Pac-Man World on Switch. It was fun. It was cute. Pac-Man World wasn't the best game ever, so it's just a very simple platformer. So
yeah, I only ever played 2 and 3, and looking back at 1, I'm not like really regretting that fact.
I mean, it's fine.
I don't remember which one I played, but I definitely have nostalgia for one of those games. So it's cute, aside from the fact that they legally found a way to murder Miss Pac-Man.
Yeah, it said she's not Miss Pac-Man anymore. She is now Pac-Mom.
Because apparently someone else maybe kind of owns the rights to Miss Pac-Man.
Sort of,
and I don't remember.
Yeah,
I don't remember if it's like they actually own the rights or if it's like they claim to own the rights. And it's just too much of a hassle to like actually work it out. That it's like let's just not even bother.
It's like so weird because like they may actually have some merit because Miss Pac-Man the game wasn't like a direct sequel made by Namco. It was like a hack of the original Pac-Man made by just third parties, and Midway and they pitched the Midway, and Midway's like, oh yeah, we'll publish this as the sequel to Pac-Man, and they did, but there wasn't like any legal paperwork because Pac-Man's so old, there wasn't like any precedent for anything, so it's like, yeah, we'll just make this. I guess it's ours, and then since there was no paperwork done, they're like, the hackers were like, oh, I guess, wait, I technically made this character, so it's it's bizarre and weird, but yeah, she's now Pac-Mom. And they also changed the names of some of Pac-Man's kids. What else did I play? I started Metal Gear Solid, the first one, or technically third one. But yeah, it's very fun. I love how cinematic it is, and it's very fast-paced and cool and sneaky and hard. Yeah, that's that. Also been playing Return to Monkey Island.
That sounds like the end of a good podcast. Thank you for joining us, everyone, both participants and listeners, to this, the Game Cola podcast. If you like what you heard, be sure to check us out on our actual internet website, gamecola.net, and you can find videos and game playthroughs on our YouTube channel, including also live streams on the YouTube channel, GCDotNet, the letter G, the letter C, the word not, the letter G, the letter C, the word dot, the word net. There we go. I've only been doing this for like 100 years. You gotta give me a break every once in a while.
It's a year every month.
We got social media like Facebook and Twitter. Join the Discord. It's a lot of fun. I don't know. Some percentage of people who go to the YouTube channel aren't subscribed, and everybody's supposed to say that now. So Do with that information what you will. I don't even know what the actual percentage is, because I'm sure all the numbers come from people watching the Mario 2 playthroughs.
Yep.
Yeah, anything else? This will probably be after, I think this comes out after the end.
Sims 4 is free now.
Yes.
I thought Anna would mention it.
I didn't. I forgot. I totally forgot.
I think let's package. I've been thinking we could maybe package that up in like its own little thing, because I think there's some interesting thoughts there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't come until
that
October 18th. So be on the lookout. Beginning October 18th.
For another time. That is not this time.
Or the end time.
But whatever time of day it is, whenever it is, wherever it is that you are listening to this podcast, thank you for listening, and we will see you next month. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Very nice, but it definitely, I don't know.
The real question is,
don't include that. Sorry, Joe.
No.